Okay, the next tip here, next step is implementing a robust cycle counting program. So, many companies are moving to routine cycle counts, periodic cycle counts, as opposed to the annual physical inventory. I still see a lot of physical inventories out there. I do. I still see a bunch of annual physical inventories, but a lot of companies want to go to, daily, weekly type counts. That way they're not, physical inventory takes sometimes a few days to complete. You've got to like shut down operations, at least systematically, and it really takes a long time to perform. So cycle counting, if auditors approve of your cycle counting approach, typically the best approach. Definitely finance usually involved in those decisions. So go ahead and determine, if cycle counting is a fit for you. Determine your methodology. If you want to use ABC counts, location, ascending, number of locations per day, per week, etc. I've seen some customers that wanted to count their entire warehouse twice a year. That was their requirement. So go ahead and determine that so you can implement a good cycle counting program. And one option in Dynamics is to count inventory when the quantity is lowest for each item. So, after let's say you have 100 in stock and you pick 99 of them, you only have one left. Go ahead and count. The system can trigger you and it can say, oh, you've only got one left. Go ahead and count that one, because it's easier to count one than counting 100. So that's a good way to kind of easily knock off some of the counts. Another option in Dynamics is using total item counting. So when you get to a location, let's say there's 1,000 serial numbers in that location, and it's going to take you forever to scan each one of them. What you can do is you can count them all, say, okay, I've got 100, or let's say 1,000, and only if you enter a variance, then you have to go count each individual box. So this is just a kind of a time-saving thing here. I guess for the most accurate inventory, you probably want to scan every box. There's often trade-offs involved. And you're always going to deal with some cycle count variances, physical inventory variances. You need to determine who can accept and reject those variances. Is there a limit that the warehouse, is allowed to count out without requiring approval? So, I've worked with customers that they had a $250 limit for the warehouse, that as a warehouse associate, they could adjust out $250 plus or minus without requiring anyone else to look at it. So those types of things, those tolerances are in place in D365 as well.